Okay. Hi, folks. This is Joko, and today we're going to talk about an opinion essay that came in from an anonymous user. It's a pretty good high level piece, and it should be because she says she's shooting for a 7.5. Okay, let's have a look. My unique type of assistants who need to improve their score. I can do it. I really can. And I'd love to help you do it for a very modest fee. I need a job. Okay, now when you have a task two, the first thing you need to do is analyze the question. The prompt given is rich countries often give money to poorer countries, but it does not solve poverty. Should it? Therefore, developed countries should give other types of help to the poor countries rather than financial aid. That's an odd place to put a therefore. To what extent do you agree or disagree? I would say I would disagree because you can't put a therefore there. You haven't really established anything yet. You need to create an argument before you can come to a therefore. And who is going to solve poverty? You can alleviate poverty. You'll never get rid of. Okay, so now when it was put in the IELTS tips and tricks group, it did not have this sentence below. And remember, this sentence is in every task too. Academic, general training, whatever. Give reasons for your answers and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. That's in the instructions. Okay, who are we talking about here? Let's ask the WH questions. Okay, we're talking about uh, um, rich countries, but not everyone in the country, the governments, because it's the governments who give the aid, the recipient governments, and the poor people who they govern. Right? Yeah. And where? In the developed and developing world. When? Nowadays. And in the past. And in the future, too. How many parts are there to this question? Well, let's have a look. What do you guys think? Well, there are two parts. That actually ties into the next question. That anytime you get a to what extent do you agree or disagree, it's very important that you identify and clarify the meaning and the exact words which represent what it is that we're being asked to agree or disagree with. Okay? So, is it that is it that financial aid, monetary aid, has no effect on poverty? Is that what it's asking us to agree or disagree with? No. How about the reasons for poverty itself? No. No. The thing you're asked to disagree on is that developed countries should give other types of help to poor countries rather than financial aid. Okay. And the therefore at the start of that sentence has a meaning in that that premise is based upon the statement that came before it. Okay? Does not solve poverty. So that part is sort of in the question, but you're not being asked to agree or disagree with it does not solve poverty. Okay. Does the question state that the purpose of the aid is to reduce poverty? No, it doesn't. Therefore implies such, but could also be a point of disagreement. What I mean there is, therefore implies beforehand that the aid is not doing enough or not helping. Okay, moving on. I put the candidate's essay into wordcounter.net, and here's some raw numbers on what we're about to see. 342 words, it's a bit long. You might want to tighten that up because you're going to be spending 31 minutes writing that by hand, and that doesn't leave you a lot of time for error correction or brainstorming ideas beforehand. Okay, for longest sentence was 37, shortest 14. That's a good mix. Average sentence 25. Yeah, that's a good. It's not overly wordy. 4 paragraphs. Blah blah blah. 31 minutes. Uh, money. 7 times. Poverty 6 times. More 6 times. Countries 5, and then so on. There's lots of synonyms for money. Let's see if you used it egregiously, like twice in a sentence or something. All right, moving on. Okay, our introduction. Should I read it? Okay. Over the years, underdeveloped countries have received financial aid from developed countries to help combat poverty, but that has not been effective for many reasons. A proposal for other forms of assistance has been suggested, and I strongly agree. This essay will discuss why giving money alone can't resolve poverty in these poorer countries due to bad national security, and why investing in the education system can be of more benefit. Oh, that's a mouthful there at the end. Okay, now I know it's in the question, words financial aid, but in my mind anyway, financial aid is a set phrase that has a particular definition, and it has to do with school. It has to do with money that you borrow to go to school. That's what financial aid is. Monetary assistance, aid, just aid. Financial aid. Where did you get this question? I should look that up. Okay, so as I mentioned before, is it the fact that to help combat poverty? Okay, that's good phrasing. You didn't say resolve poverty. Okay, yeah, but it's not been effective. Okay, so it is perfectly plausible that it's to help combat poverty, but that's not all. Okay, but that here in this sentence, that is unclear. Yeah, you should not say, but that has not been effective. Over the years, developing countries, not underdeveloped, developing countries have received financial aid from richer countries to help combat poverty. But this aid, this assistance has not been effective for many reasons. You don't need to go into that, so don't even bring that up. Just say has not been effective. You don't have to go into why it has not been effective, so don't put yourself in the position where you're going to have to support that idea, particularly in the first sentence of the entire thing. A proposal, just one, for other forms of assistance has been suggested, and I strongly agree with what? This essay will discuss why giving money alone don't forget, no contractions, cannot resolve poverty in these poorer countries. Well, these, which ones? Due to bad national security. Okay, leaving aside for what national security is, leave out the word bad. I recently made a list that I created of words you should not use in the IELTS test. Good and bad are one of them, or two of them, because it's such a broad general term to be almost meaningless, and there's so many other synonyms and more precise ways of saying bad, due to corrupt, deficient, unequal, anything, but not bad. Okay, body paragraph 1. Now, in your body paragraphs, in fact, throughout your writing, you should have a clear topic sentence in each paragraph, and it's usually the first sentence. In fact, you have to be really good for it not to be anything other than the first sentence. Okay, money can solve many issues on the surface of the planet. Superficially, on this bit of a yellow means word choices, but will not have a lasting effect if the main cause of the problem is not addressed. Okay, now this is an overly complex sentence. You've got 3 clauses. Money can solve many issues on the surface. Period. There's no comma or anything here. But will not have a lasting effect if the main cause of the problem is not addressed. And then you have a third one, if the main cause is problem not addressed. A 3-clause sentence like that, it's just awkward and hard to read. Break it up. No more than 2 clauses. One of the main reasons for poverty is not being asked in this essay is the lack of law and order. Okay, you need to have some kind of cohesion here between the main cause. Here's it. It's the main cause. Now here I have one of the main reasons. Connect those two. There's a lack of law and order. Really? I think it would be a lack of economic opportunity. But anyway, strict rules and regulations in any place. That's a weird way to write any place doesn't fit there. Can cause people to be more diligent. What do you mean by diligent? And how does that, anyway, I've got my comments over here. Huh? Click, 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 click. There we go. Can cause? Or they do cause. Oftentimes, due to the disregard for the laws of the country, leaders abuse their power by stealing the money donated to alleviate poverty for their personal gain. Donated? Okay. Money, money, money. And they go unpunished, as recently observed in Sri Lanka. That's a long sentence. Yeah, put that example out in a separate sentence. Therefore, without making the leaders more accountable for the finances and the budget of the country, both, no matter how much money is given, there would be no change in the country's poverty situation. So here's the mixed conditional. No matter how much money were given, there would be no change. Or how much money is given, there will be no change. The second conditional works there. Do you think that there's laws in place that says, do not steal aid from other countries? I suppose. There's a word for that. It's called corruption. Okay, yeah, that's not a very coherent topic. I mean, a coherent paragraph. I didn't feel it, Moreover, oh my, don't start a paragraph with moreover. You're setting yourself up. Remember, moreover needs to be in addition and more importantly. That's what moreover means. But not just any more importantly, but significantly more importantly. So much more importantly that the first thing I was talking about isn't really that, and it can't hold a candle. Not even close. However, moreover, providing proper educational tools and materials for the future generations can greatly influence the trajectory of a country. Yeah, see, that's not giving people better pencils and desks and computers is probably not more important than law and order. So, moreover, don't use moreover there. Okay, and who are we talking about? Go back, remember, we're talking about people today, not future generations. We're talking about people right now. So why future generations in there? Okay, can greatly influence the generation. That's a topic sentence. If richer countries provide scholarship opportunities, exchange student schemes, donate computers and machines to schools in these poorest countries, and train the teachers on how to operate them, the outcome would be more beneficial. Well, of course. More beneficial than what? More beneficial than it is now, or more beneficial than using those resources to give financial aid? This is an overly long sentence. You don't want to do lists like this, where you got a whole bunch of things, because you should be supporting all of them. Can you categorize these things into larger groups? Yeah, okay. For example, the Chinese government provides many scholarships to African students for the various programs. Okay, does that support that idea? Because, comma. No, we don't use because like that. It's rarely used, I spelled it wrong here, at the start of a sentence, and it is never separated by a comma like that. It's not a standalone connector. Because more smart and diligent students, smarter, will be produced by the improved educational system. More qualified and highly educated people will be in leadership positions, and they will work effectively with the money donated to curb poverty. Well, that's a long series of events. Okay. Not very coherent. I'm not getting like one idea out of this. Conclusion. In conclusion. Although, comma. No comma there. Donating money can be of some help. You didn't mention that until now. It is limited by the ability and quality of those in charge of the money. I believe that other forms of help, like educational investment, can be explored. Well, of course it can be, should be, needs to be, must be, followed. Well, not just can be explored. You strongly agree. You said so at the beginning of the essay, and now you're kind of wishy-washy. Okay, what you wanted to know is band scores. Generally don't do this because you might be disheartened or you might be overconfident, depending on where we are. Now here's 2 pages from IELTS.org. They're the band descriptors, 6 and 7 for the 4 band descriptors. Now, it's task response where most students have the biggest trouble because it's not language related, really. It's more idea related, okay, and essay skills. Right? So your ideas are relevant, but they're not developed, okay, and then they wander from the ideas that you present. So you're not supporting your ideas sufficiently. Your conclusions are unclear and not repetitive. Main parts are addressed. Yes. Okay, but it doesn't raise to a 7 because we don't have a clear and developed position. Are extended and supported? Yeah, I think it's going to be a 6. Now, for coherence and cohesion, it could be 6 or a 7, with 7s in lexical resources. You can look back at the yellow bits and grammar. And the use of punctuation is generally well controlled. There are some error-free. There's lots of error-free sentences that might even go to an 8. But the 6, 7, 7, 8 would be a 7. A 6, 7, 7, 7 would be 6.75, 6.5. You want 7.5. So not quite there yet, but good start. I wish you luck. And for those of you who would like to talk to me about having this type of analysis done, even in a nicer way, I wouldn't be so snarky, and you could see me. Contact me by visiting my IELTStemple.blogspot.com. Again, I'm Joko, and I wish you all the best.